Welcome into this segment of Behind the Pen presented by MostValuablePodcast.com. If you want to listen to the full podcast, go to blogtalkradio.com/MostValuablePodcast. Also, we're on iTunes, so check us out there as well. Thank you all for listening as always, and enjoy the show. But this podcast is not over. This will likely go over an hour, so I apologize. I'm not going to apologize. It's baseball talk. Come on, I'm giving you a gift. But we're talking Major League Baseball, Cy Young Award winners, MVPs, Rookie of the Years, and potential playoff spots and rankings and whatnot in this next segment. So stay right here on blogtalkradio.com/Behind the Pen if you could. If you're on YouTube, drop a like down below if you enjoyed this segment. As always, guys, look for this segment moving forward. It will be the final segment of the opening day edition of Behind the Pen, previewing the Major League Baseball season. We're here, guys, the part of the show that I know you've all been waiting for. You stuck around if you're on Blog Talk Radio. Thank you so much for doing so. If you're checking in here on YouTube, drop a like, comment down below. Need to give me, your opinions on my opinions, as well as what you think is going to happen in this season. Who's your AL MVP? Who's your NL MVP? Same goes for the Cy Young and Rookie of the Year award winners. So please drop a comment down below. Love the feedback. Want to have conversations with you and, put them on the show as well and say, okay, hey, this is what this person thinks, so I'm going to tell him why he's wrong because I'm always right. All right, we're looking at it right now. Here's my opinion. AL MVP we'll start with first. I am in love with Francisco Lindor, and I feel like the value that he brings to not only Cleveland, but at the position as a whole, in the shortstop position, he does so much. Power, speed, gets on base, hits for power, contact, all that jazz, and he's a fantastic defender. So he's my guy. Francisco Lindor, my AL MVP. It's very hard to bet against Mike Trout. I get it. Like he is. If you're going to build a baseball player, you're going to build Mike Trout. Like if you're going to build a basketball player, you'll build LeBron James. But it's Francisco Lindor for me this season. Given I think it has to come into account how good your team is and the role that you play in getting them to the point where they do end up eventually. So that's my guy Lindor. In the NL side, I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm saying Nolan Arenado is going to win the MVP, mainly because last year I felt like he didn't get enough looks. And for whatever reason, I think they take in Coors Field into account a little too much. I think if you look at his splits, there's not really a drop-off there in production last year for Nolan Arenado. I think this year he's going to absolutely kill it. He's going to do things that's going to force the voters to have to vote for them, for that man. So Arenado, my guy in the NL. It's very hard to bet against Anthony Rizzo. Bryce Harper might come back and maybe even Andrew McCutchen as well. But my money's on Nolan Arenado to start the season. We'll see what happens there. Moving on. AL Cy Young Award winner. Last year, there was some controversy. This year, I don't think there will be. It's going to be Aaron Sanchez, guys. Aaron Sanchez out of the Toronto Blue Jays organization, as long as he stays healthy, as long as they don't have an innings restraint on him, I think Aaron Sanchez is going to be the best pitcher in the American League this year. Flat out. Unbelievable talent. I just huge fan. Aaron Sanchez, my AL Cy Young Award winner. NL side, it's got to be Noah Syndergaard, right? It's either him or Kershaw. So I'm going with Syndergaard. I think he's just electric as long as he's not hurt. He's got, stuff in his elbow that hopefully isn't bothering him anymore, but Syndergaard's my guy. NL Cy Young. Give me your thoughts. I want to know. All right, here's the fun part, too. I love dissecting the incoming rookies this year. There's not really much to look at in terms of the position this year compared to prior season. Yeah, I mentioned a Bell from Pittsburgh. He's definitely going to be in the mix. Hunter Renfroe, San Diego outfielder, keep an eye on. But who cares about the Padres? Ugh. Padres organization, not good at all. But I'm going with Dansby Swanson in the National League. And by the way, the MVP race, I have to mention Corey Seager. He's going to be in it as well. He's just unreal. He's legit for sure. But back in the NL side, Rookie of the Year, Dansby Swanson from Atlanta. I think he's just going to come up and produce. I think he's just a quality player. And he still maintained his rookie status, not playing enough games to qualify as a returning player. So, hey, Dansby Swanson, you're my guy. And I think the same kind of goes for the AL side too. I mean, is there really another conversation that we have to have? It's going to be Andrew Benintendi, guys, from Boston. He's going to have to win it. I mean, he's just a quality player. He looks like he's a vet already. He's doing so many things well. He can play corner outfield position for you. Does it well as well. So, well. And we're going to talk all of that moving forward this season on Behind the Pen. So make sure you stay tuned to it. We're going to keep track of Major League Baseball season. Going to continue with the Bears thoughts, of course. That's the go-to here on Most Valuable Podcast, specifically Behind the Pen. I got you on Bears conversation, guys. Next week, I'll most likely talk about that as well. But Andrew Benintendi, AL Rookie of the Season, and we'll see. We'll see, but I'm feeling pretty good about that. My 2 picks, actually, Swanson and Benintendi, we'll see. Of course, I'm always right, even if I'm wrong. So we're going to go now into our postseason prediction. If you listen to the entirety of this podcast here on Blog Talk Radio, you kind of get a feel of how I previewed the contenders in both leagues and where I ranked them. I didn't really give you a concrete number, so I'm going to do that here. Postseason, American League, Cleveland's the 1, Boston's 2, Houston's 3. When that'll do it for the division winners. Cleveland wins the Central, Boston in the East, Houston in the West. 2 wildcard spots remain. A lot are going to be fighting for that. Baltimore as well, Detroit, maybe even Kansas City. Who knows? I think the American League is very competitive this year, but I'm going to give it to Toronto and Texas. It's going to be a rematch, guys, not in the DS series where Toronto just absolutely mauled Texas. But I'm looking at this wild card scenario. I don't think Toronto has enough to beat Boston, and I think Houston and Texas are going to duel it for the top spot in the West until the end of the season, and that'll give Houston the edge, which means the Rangers are going to have to settle for a wild card spot, which stinks because one and done after 162, that's awful. So Toronto, Texas is going to be a great game. I expect we'll see what happens there. I would probably, on March 30th, I'll go out on the limb and say Toronto wins that. So, it's fun. We're having fun. Over on the NL side, Cubs win the Central, Dodgers win the West, Nationals win the East in that order of records in terms of top teams in the National League. You got the Mets and the Giants. The Giants are going to have home field in that game as the Mets squeak into a wild card, just edging out the Cardinals. And I said, are the Cardinals going to be good enough to make the playoffs? So I might put them in the play. Yeah, no. Hey, St. Louis, coming from a Cubs fan, you got to look up at us for the next 10 years. So, enjoy being out of the playoffs. They've had a steady decline where they've won the division. They got to the World Series, lost. Got to the LCS, lost. Got to the NLDS, lost. Got to the wild card game, lost. And now not even making the playoffs. So that's St. Louis. That's St. Louis's trend in the baseball world right now. So they're out. Take that, St. Louis. I'm sorry. I had to get that in as a Cubs fan. I'm sorry. Come at me. That's cool. But one more time, Cubs, Dodgers, Nationals, Giants, Mets. I will probably, I don't know. Mad Bum Syndergaard in that NL wildcard game. You kidding me? Fantastic stuff. World Series winner, Cleveland over the Cubs. And that'll do it. That's going to be it. Cleveland ends their drought after the Cubs did last year. It's going to be a rematch, but this time I think Cleveland takes it. As long as that rotation's healthy, I already mentioned it, they're good. Very good, especially with that lineup. So there you have it. That's it for this Major League Baseball preview show for the 2017 season right here on Behind the Pen. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you stuck around for the entirety of this podcast, almost an hour. Had a lot to say. Tried to cram it in under an hour, and I'm going to do it. And I appreciate all of you sticking around, all you baseball fans listening. Thank you so much. Whether you're on YouTube or on Blog Talk Radio, if you're on YouTube, give us a like, drop a comment. Like I said, give me some feedback. Give me your picks. I want to hear it. I'm excited who your World Series picks are, who your, surprise teams may be this season. Just give me all your thoughts, baseball thoughts. I'm ready for it. Sunday. Opening day is upon us. I'm so excited. Thank you guys again. I can't thank you enough. If you're on Blog Talk Radio for sticking around for this whole thing, you can check us out. MostValuablePodcast.com is where we have all of our full-length content. We have draft stuff coming out. We have mock draft information for you, so check that out. Sean Anderson, Ricky Woodmer, Dave Oster, maybe not Dave. I don't know if Dave does mock drafts, but I know Mark Weber does. So please stay tuned right here to Most Valuable Podcast. We will have you covered for this sporting event season. Oh, guys, it was so fun talking baseball with you. One more shout out. I have to give it out to Brittany Dole. By the way, this is the second of 2 podcasts that I recorded for you this week in the celebration of opening day. So check it out. We talked Chicago Cubs strictly, and she had a lot of awesome insight. You have to check it out. Brittany Dole sat down and talked to me about her experiences with the Chicago Cubs organization. So give us a like there and let me know what you think. But other than that, guys, that'll do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for sticking around one more time. Happy opening day, everybody. Happy opening day. So that'll be it for me for this week's edition of Behind the Pen. Again, treated you guys with 2 episodes. It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much one more time, Brittany Dole, for jumping on with me. Thank you all for listening to this episode previewing Major League Baseball opening day in 2017. As always, guys, we will see you all next time. Thank you guys for sticking around for this segment of Behind the Pen. If you want more Most Valuable Podcast content, click on the video up above, because I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep listening to our voices every day. But again, guys, thank you all for listening. We really do appreciate you.